Got a product to sell? BigCommerce.com allows you to quickly and easily create your own online store. Start by choosing a design from over hundreds of available design templates, add your products, and you're ready to start selling. Manage and sync inventory across multiple stores with support for PayPal, Square, Amazon Pay, and more. Take complete control of your SEO data to drive sales with no transaction fees. Personally, I really like the easy to navigate menus, and I was able to get products up in as quickly as 10 minutes, including this desktop PC available for 5,000. Wait, what? With over thousands of stores and over $9 billion in online sales, BigCommerce has the tools you need to grow your business. Try it risk-free for 15 days at bigcommerce.com/trial. What's going on YouTube? My name is Chris and welcome to Immodernation. Many of you know I'm a big fan of Disney, and if you follow me on Instagram and Twitter, you've seen some of my Disneyland trips. Yep, this Mouseketeer's been going to Disneyland since 1989, and I've gone for every year since then for my birthday, up until about 1997. But this year, somebody else is celebrating a big birthday. That's right, the mouse of the house, Mickey Mouse, is turning 90, and Disneyland is celebrating with the Get Your Ears On celebration. At least they were earlier this year. I think it's over now. And I wanted to get my ears on too, but I wasn't happy with the ears that Disneyland was selling. I mean, they did have the Star Wars ears, which I guess are kind of nice, but there's no RGB. Unacceptable. But I did find another pair of ears. These were the glow with the show ears. What does glow with the show mean? Well, glow with the show was something that Disneyland came up with a few years ago, where the ears would actually light up in synchronization with popular shows and attractions, such as the World of Color, and I think also some of the fireworks shows, and they had some other things like magic wands, and they had like glowing Mickey hands and some other things that were really cool. And they operate on infrared technology. And I thought, okay, well, this is a good starting point, but I'm Immodernation. I can do better. So I decided that I was going to take the concept of the glowing ears, put some programmable lights on it, and include Bluetooth speakers in the middle of the ears so that I could play my favorite Disney tracks. So the ears would essentially function as a Bluetooth speaker, and I could use my cell phone to control the music that was playing out of them. The other portion is the lights, and the lights have two modes to them. One is, of course, the programmable RGB LED ring lights that would go around the speakers. The other mode is glow with a show. I wanted to keep this mode so that I'd be able to visit Disneyland and use them with the attractions. Now, don't forget that all of the products that I feature in this video are available for purchase from Amazon using the Amazon affiliate links in that video description below. This is what the wiring for the hat looks like. Yeah, I feel the same way. Here's a hand-drawn schematic to help you understand what's going on. Okay, to help out, here's the actual models in place. If you're still confused and overwhelmed, this is how my brain works. Okay, let's forget this for a second and break it down into two smaller circuits. We have the Bluetooth speaker circuit and the LED lighting circuit. Bluetooth is easier to understand, so we'll start there first. So you have two speakers that are connected to this amplifier. We all know how amplifiers work. They take an audio signal and they make it louder. The audio comes through these lines from this Bluetooth receiver, which is in the form of a thumb drive right now, but it'll make more sense when we take this drive apart. Power to the amplifier and Bluetooth flow through this switch from this battery via this charging circuit. The micro USB plugs in here to charge the battery, and it includes overcharge and discharge protection so the battery doesn't burst into flames and I'm not cosplaying Ghost Rider for Halloween. So a device with Bluetooth compatibility, like say a phone, connects to the Bluetooth receiver and I can play music to the speakers. All right? Next, let's take a look at the LED lights. The LED light rings are connected to this microcontroller, which is a single small board computer, but it's programmed to tell the lights what color to be, when to turn on and off, and for how long. Again, we see the same charging circuit. This diagram doesn't include the glow with the show lighting, but imagine after the charging circuit, there's a three-way switch that in one position turns on the LED rings, in another position turns on the glow with the show lighting, or turns both off. See? So simple. First thing I needed was a set of speakers. Remember that review I did of the Soye X6 portable Bluetooth speaker back in February of 2018? If you don't, you can watch it by, well, okay, you already know what I'm going to say. There's a card up there. You should click it. Do you remember when I said a few weeks ago I purchased a portable Bluetooth speaker? The idea was that I was just going to gut it up and use it for a future project. This is that future project. See, I plan years ahead and you guys don't even realize it. I have all these ideas written down. Anyway, I wanted to use this circuit for the hat, but the board is too big and awkward. Plus, I really don't need call answering capabilities. So I'm just gonna take the speakers for this project. They're 3-watt speakers, so I need a 3-watt amplifier, but it also needs to be small enough to fit inside of the cap. This PAM 8403 should do it. Plus, I need a Bluetooth module to allow it to connect to my phone. I found this YouTube video where somebody made their own portable Bluetooth speaker using a USB Bluetooth thumb drive with a 3.5mm audio pass-through. So I used the exact same thing. Now, a Bluetooth speaker requires a lot of power. A single set of AA or C batteries won't last for very long. I could go the LiPo battery route, but polymer batteries are unpredictable, and I don't like unpredictable this close to my head. So to power the unit, I went with 18650 batteries. These are high-capacity 3.7 volt lithium-ion batteries that you often see in vape units. Now for the LED lights, I wanted addressable RGB LED rings that could be programmed. I found these Neopixel type LED rings and bought 2 of them. I needed a small microcontroller board that could be powered by the batteries and fit inside of the hat, so I went with the AdaFruit Gemma M0. Could have also gone with the Trinket M0, both use the same processor and storage. In order to keep the batteries charged, I went with a TP4056 based charging unit, and it comes with a micro USB interface for recharging the batteries, so I don't have to remove the batteries from the hat each time. Here's how I'm wiring the LED rings. The rings come with 4 pads, VCC and ground, which are power input and ground respectively. DI is data input, DO is data output. The data lines for the rings are in series, running into the input and out of the output to the next ring's input, as you can see in this schematic that I made. The output of the current ring goes into the input of the next ring. The ground wires connect to ground on the microcontroller, or GND. V out is the VCC that provides power to the lights. The data input connects to D0, which we'll identify in the code later on. I tested out both the LED and the Bluetooth audio circuits to make sure that they work on their own. For the LED lights, I dumped in some sample program that I found on the AdaFruit website to make sure that the lights were working. Once I connected my phone to the Bluetooth speaker, I tried out some Spotify music. At full volume, my phone causes the audio to clip and distort, so I'll have to remember to reduce the volume on my phone since I don't have a volume control on the circuit. Now that you've seen the circuit diagrams, let's see how I got there. Before I begin installing the electronics, I need to take the ears apart. I removed the foam padding from the inside, and you can see the plastic wings that hold the ears to the hat. I'll be keeping some of this foam padding for later use. Using a Phillips screwdriver, I was able to remove the ears from the plastic wings inside of the hat. You can see the small LEDs and the IR receiver on the ribbon cables that pass through the ears. They're connected to the battery box that includes the switch. I want to keep the frame that holds the ears to the hat, so I'm going to remove the ears and retain the battery box with the wings. I have my own battery holder, so I won't be needing the battery holder that came with the ears. So I'll be removing the battery box with my Black & Decker RTX3 rotary tool. Once the battery box is trimmed off, I'll be reinstalling the battery winged frame with a new battery holder on top. This battery holder comes wired for series, which means that installing 2 batteries will have a combined 7.4 volts instead of the 3.7 volts that I need. So I moved the black wire over to the other side and wired the other 2 terminals on the other side together. Now I just need to ensure that both the positive and negative battery terminals are on the same side when I install the batteries. If the batteries are not facing the same direction, I could damage the electronics. I also cut out the padding inside of the ears and extended the cutout for the battery box so that I could accommodate the new, larger 18650 battery box. As for why I went with a battery box and not a battery pack,
Soldering wires to a battery is very dangerous. It heats up the inside of the battery, which could damage the cells or even cause it to explode. Next, I'll be cutting out the ears in acrylic, using the original ears as a template. I'm using cast acrylic for the LED edge lighting. Light guide cast acrylic would be more ideal for this situation, but that stuff is very expensive, as I discussed in the RGB GPU backplate video. This acrylic should be thick enough for LED edge lighting. The LED from the glow with the show circuit is going to be pressed against the edge of the acrylic ears, lighting up the entire clear acrylic ear. The ring lights would mostly only be visible from one side, but the same is true for the glow with the show LEDs. To increase the brightness of the glow with the show LEDs, I added a white background to the edges of the lights. I cut out a vinyl stencil and I painted over it with a white primer / spray paint so that the edges of the acrylic were white. The edge lights were much more visible around the LED lights. But again, the glow with the show LEDs would only be visible for one side, so I added a vinyl backing to the other side of the ear so that the lights would be visible from the back. It sort of works, but I later discovered that the magnetic drivers would block a good portion of the illumination. The biggest problem came with mounting the ears onto the hat. I did retain the plastic winged frame for structural integrity and to help mount the ears onto the soft material, but simply driving a screw through the acrylic ear would look awful, even if I didn't manage to shatter the acrylic by accident. So I used the mounts for the original ears for stabilization. I cut the rest of the stock ear off except for the mounts and the flat portion. Not only would this allow me to mount the ears securely, but I would retain the clips for securing the ribbon cables of the glow with the show LEDs. But in order for the acrylic ears to mount on, I have to cut the rounded portion of the ears off. The ears are thin enough that there is not enough contact for the ear mounts to securely fit. So what I did was I added some pieces of polycarbonate for stabilization and to increase the bonding surface area of the acrylic ears to the ear mounts. In order for the speakers to fit, I cut holes in the middle of the ears so that the magnetic drivers would be able to fit through. This limits the number of LED rings I could use from 5 to 3. The problem is that the speaker is larger than the smallest ring, but the speaker still needs a mount to sit on. So I made a clear acrylic ring that the speaker could fit on, but the clear ring still allows the smallest ring light to shine through. I used my rotary tool with a Dremel router attachment to route a channel for the wiring behind the LED rings. This would allow me to mount the rings flat against the ears without the bulges associated with the wires behind the rings. I also used the rotary tool to route some channels for the speaker wires as well. The speaker wires were a little too thick to place in the LED wiring channel, so they had to be routed over the top of the LED rings. I used a snap blade knife and scissors to make a few holes for the switches that would reside in the back of the hat. One switch to turn on and off the Bluetooth speaker, and the other to switch between LED rings, glow with the show lights, and off position. Now it's time to mount the electronics. The TP4056 charging circuit and the AdaFruit Gemma M0 were mounted in such a way that it would be provided easy access to the micro USB ports for charging and programming without needing to remove the padded material. I would just flip the hat over and the ports are there for easy access. I mounted the Bluetooth module where I thought I could get a good signal. The amplifier was mounted in the middle of the hat to give equal distance wire runs to both speakers. The Bluetooth audio circuit required lower gauge wiring compared to the LED lights, so keep that in mind if you decide to replicate this project. I drilled a few holes for the wires to fit through the hat, and the rest is according to the schematic.
This build is not done yet. Now, because the electronics are exposed to such conditions as heat, humidity, dirt, sweat, all that stuff that happens when you're not gaming on your desktop computer, I decided that I needed to protect my electronics. And I went with MG Chemical silicone conformal coating. Why not use clear nail polish, you ask? Let's ask Mrs. Modernation.
Thanks, honey. Let's talk about 3 main points. The first, fingernail polish wasn't designed to last more than a few weeks. I can wear normal nail polish for a few days before I start to see chipping, with one exception. Recently, I tried the SE Gel Couture nail polish. This non-UV light gel nail polish lasted 2 weeks without chipping. With typical nail polish, I have to reapply once I see chipping. In terms of the mouse ears, you would have to reapply the clear nail polish multiple times throughout the year. 2. If the nail polish is applied too thick, it can crack. This has to do with the layers on top drying faster than the bottom layers. Cracked nail polish can let moisture in, ruining your electronics. Lastly, nail polish also lacks flexibility, so a lot of wear over time will cause it to crack. Silicone conformal coating is more flexible than nail polish. It won't crack with normal use. Now back to those mouse ears.
I use the included brush and I wipe the conformal coating over the electronics. It's kind of like Plasti Dip that I used in the Paint a Motherboard video, but it's clear and super expensive compared to Plasti Dip. Careful with those switches and buttons. You don't want this stuff gumming them up. I mean gumming because it's silicone, so it dries like jelly. And it's modified already. Isn't that why I bought it? No. Modified in this case means that it has a phosphorescent dye that reacts with UV light. Why is that important? You can see where you missed if you shine a blue light over the electronics.
The last part of this build is the coding, which I'll admit is not in my wheelhouse. I took some code from the AdaFruit website. I think I changed the input pin, the number of LEDs, kind of moved some code around. By the way, the code is written in CircuitPython, which is kind of like MicroPython, but it's specific to AdaFruit boards. I'll be honest, I had no idea what I was doing. Now that the ears are done, the only thing left to do is try them out. Hey guys, I'm here at Disney, California to find out what people think of my Mickey ears. And if I wasn't enough of an attention whore, I've got my birthday button here with me. And I'll tell you what, I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. I'll just, you and me really quick. It's not my birthday! My first concern was getting through security. Honestly, I didn't think I was gonna get in. Security was gonna see this hat with all these wires coming out and batteries. I was gonna get turned away for sure. Maybe even have the bomb squad called on me. But surprisingly, security let me through. In fact, the security guard said to me, you could leave the ears on as I was passing through the metal detector. But I informed him that there was metal inside of the ears, and he said, oh, as I put the ears into the bin. So while walking through the park, I was expecting to get some sort of reaction from people, and the exact opposite happened. In fact, most people ignored me, and the ones that did notice my ears ended up just staring at me. I mean, it really surprised me. Then there was this guy and this woman. Well, I think the woman was actually staring at something else, though. I thought the music player would be a hit, but people just kind of looked around all confused like they couldn't find the music. Do you hear the music? It wasn't until nighttime when I turned on the lights that I really got people's attention. In fact, I had people coming up to me, complimenting me on the ears, asking me if I had a social media handle that they could follow me at. Even the Disney staff was getting in on it. In fact, I remember one person coming up to me and saying, you know, you look a little lightheaded. But the lights worked amazing at nighttime, and I was able to catch the very final Main Street Electrical Parade of the season.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Disneyland proudly presents our
I can't remember the last time I was at Disneyland watching the Main Street Electrical Parade. Probably sometime in the 90s. I was scrambling to get the ears done because I wanted to make it to the Main Street Electrical Parade on time. This was actually filmed on September 30th, the very last day of the Main Street Electrical Parade in 2019.
I was so caught up in the nostalgia of the Main Street Electrical Parade, having seen it as a kid, that I almost forgot why I was at Disneyland in the first place. Or that I was even wearing a hat. So all in all, this video project was a success. The ears worked, people liked it, you're watching this video, everybody wins. In the future, I'd like to get better code for the ears, preferably from somebody who knows what they're doing. I was also thinking about painting the PCB so that it matched the LEDs, kind of goes with the whole white look. I'm just glad that I didn't end up in Disney jail, or you might be watching a different video. That's not funny. Thank you so much for checking out this video, and if you enjoyed it, make sure you slap that like button below and share the video. And while you're at it, why not join the Modern Nation and get subscribed by clicking on that subscribe button below. And hey, when you do, don't forget to click on the bell icon inside the button to be notified the moment that I release new videos. If you have any comments or questions, be sure to leave them for me in the comment section below, or why not hit me up on social media? I'd love to hear from you guys.
And when you buy products from Amazon, consider using the affiliate links in the video description below. Thank you again so much for watching, and I will see ya!